Hi, if you're watching this video, you're in the home restoration industry and you're looking for a digital marketing vendor, or you currently have a digital marketing vendor and you don't quite know what's going on and you need some assistance. My name is Rich Caputo. I'm the owner of Caputo Digital, and we've been working with over 250 different home services businesses across the US and Canada over the last 10 years. Our specialty here is focusing on generating leads from digital sources. So whether you're running Google ads, Google local service ads, you need social media help, your site needs SEO assistance, you are looking for website development or design, you're looking for an email marketing campaign, or you're just looking for someone to help guide you on how you can get different digital leads or the company to come to. I'm here to walk through some of our dashboards and some of the techniques that we use that can help you guys in the home service industry. So as you'll see behind you, you're seeing our screen right now. This is our site, and this is our dedicated page to home restoration solutions, showing some of the different tactics that we have. I'd like to walk through some of the sources that I think are the most valuable and where you can see some insight. So one of your main sources for information is going to be a dashboard. And our company strives in driving strong, detailed dashboards that give you information to what's going on and to what you need. So when you look at one of our demo dashboards, what you're going to see here is you're going to see the information on the left-hand side of all the sources that you're running with us and the information you want to see from them. So from the Google Ads side of things, right, this is your main source of searches, right? So if you're looking for home restoration, right, services in Dallas, right? When this comes up and runs, you're going to see two things come up at the top of the page. The first thing you're going to see is you're going to see what's called Google local service ads. These are paid sources where you pay per lead. So it's a little bit different than your standard Google service ads, or your Google ads, excuse me. As you go down the page, you're then going to see your standard Google ads, or what you probably know as PPC. These are your two most viable paid sources from Google that you want to be on top of and generate leads through. I'm going to go through the differences of the two. So your Google ads or pay-per-click, right? Your standard ads, these used to be the top of the page. Now your local service ads are there. When you're looking at these, what you're doing is you're generating a set of keywords, right? Our team goes through, finds the proper keywords, figure out what works the best. We then generate customized ads to those. And in your industry, your most likely source of a lead is going to come through a phone call, but you want to have a successful web form on your site, and you want to have proper phone tracking in place so you can track the leads that come through phone calls. When you look at our dashboard, where you're going to see the top of the page is the important metrics, right? How much money did I spend? And at the top, the time frame I spent it within. How many impressions did I get? Or how many times did somebody see my ad? How many clicks I got, which means they actually clicked on the ad and went through to your website. What did it cost me on average per click? So basically every time your ad shows up, it's an impression. When somebody clicks it, that is when you pay, and it's basically an auction. So we want to be competitive enough that our ad is showing. In this instance, we're at about $20.66 per click. But we don't want to be too expensive that we're paying $100, $200 a click, and it makes the cost per lead too high, right? Then you can see your click-through rate, which means how many times people saw your ad that they actually clicked on and came to your website. You want to have an average between 3 to 6%, so that when people are seeing your ad, they're clicking through. That means that your ad messaging is connecting with them enough for them to click on it. Next, you're going to see your conversions. This is how many people either filled out a form to become a lead or called in and became a lead from a phone call. We set up something called CallRail phone call tracking. So basically it's a system that gives you a tracking number. All calls go through CallRail. And on there we use a little bit of artificial intelligence plus our team to go through and listen to the calls and make sure they're conversions. If they are conversions, we'll tag it as a conversion and then import that conversion back into your Google Ads. So it's not just a random guess on if it was an actual lead. It is a lead. Then your cost per conversion, which in this case is about $99 over this 30-day period. So those are the metrics you want to know. As you start to understand those metrics, you'll understand how they're going to help your business more. So as you understand your revenue, which we can get to later, and what that is per lead on a paid source, you can then come back and tie that back into the cost per conversion. Say, okay, $99 per lead. If we're closing 4 out of 10 of those leads and turning them into jobs, and we're averaging $10,000 per job, that lets you know what your average revenue will be and where your cost per lead needs to be. So those are metrics we can work through with you. As we go down the page, it's going to get you more information. Over here, you're going to see your total spend per day, so you can see where your hot times are throughout the month, if things are spiking or declining based on seasonality or weather patterns, right? That's going to have an impact there. Then you can get down into your actual budget. So you'll see this year's budget is at $44K, $5,000 monthly budget, right? And it kind of goes through and shows that per month. And sometimes you say, hey, let's spend over budget. It's a really hot month. Let's go after it. We can do that. And then we'll adjust your budget so it reflects it in the future. And this kind of shows you that then in a table chart. So you have all these different views of seeing budget, spend left. So you're staying on track with where you want to be. But you have the data above to let me know, okay, things are going well. If I up my budget, I can get more leads at $99 a lead, which works for us, right? So that's the goal of the dashboard. And then you're going to get into even more information. It gets more granular as you go down throughout it. We're going to get into impression share. What's impression share? Impression share is basically how often your ad shows. So what happens here is your impression share is when you're targeting certain keywords, certain zip codes or towns or cities or counties, your impression share is how often your ad shows when you targeted those areas. The big one that you want to look at is budget, which is lost impression share by budget, meaning, hey, in this instance, 13% of the time our ad didn't show just because we didn't have enough budget set. So we needed to increase our budget, which is why you saw this big jump here. It was going after that impression share dip. You want to run that to focus on that point there. So you want to make sure you have enough money per day to do that. If you don't, it's okay, but know that you'll be limited. It's a daily budget. So throughout the day, as you run out of money, your ads will stop running later in the day, and they'll reset the next day. The more you're on, the more chance you have to convert. So the second one is lost IS rank, which is basically meaning, hey, this is where we can get more aggressive and spend more than $20 per click, and we can spend 30, 40, 50. But in this instance, we're already at budget. So it doesn't make sense for me to spend $50 a click when I'm still restricted on budget at 20, right? So those are decisions we would make throughout time with you, but we have the information to say, yes, we can get more clicks that are more expensive here, but right now with the budget you have, let's stick with our $20. Let's stay in that range and let's max out that budget first, and then we can take the next step to go up. So that's kind of a quick overview of Google Ads. This dashboard will get more and more in depth. It'll get into your campaigns, your ad groups, your keywords, right, and how every individual one is performing for you. So give you all that information at your fingertips. But the goal is to know that you have this and it's all in one place. So you don't have to go through multiple reports, look for different emails, PDFs, right? It's all going to be right in front of you. Now that is the area right here, right, that we talked about. The second area, which is becoming very popular in the home restoration and the home services industry, is Google Local Service Ads. And they've gone through many changes throughout the last few years when they've come about. But mainly the focus of this is to get somebody to call you on the phone. It's a phone call lead the majority of the time. And when they do call, it's actually a pay-per lead. So if it's not an actual lead, you won't be charged for it. There's Google automation and things like that are checking that. There's also manual disputing piece that you can do to go through and get that accurate. But on average, we see a much lower cost per lead on these. And they tend to be very viable leads in the industry. Now, the second thing you see here is messages. Messages is a way that they can click and fill out a form to send you a message, which is basically an email. You go to the email, a text, you respond back, and you message them back and forth. I recommend having messaging on. It's going to help you rank higher. It helps with the algorithm. So it's better to have it on and make sure somebody is manning it. Answering your phone, answering your messages is crucial. Those two pieces are really important. The more that you answer those, the more you respond to those, you get a response rate score from Google. So it's a 90-day trailing score. So if you don't answer the phone for a couple weeks and your score drops to a 50, it could take a couple months to get back to where you want to be. So whatever number you're going to for phone or text, it's crucial that somebody picks up the phone at that number or somebody responds to that text message. Phone number, immediate response, text message you have, or email, either one, you have up to 24 hours to respond, but the quicker you respond, the better. Now, when you look at our dashboard for this one, it's going to show you the important stuff, right? Total spend, how many phone calls I had, how many of those phone calls actually turned into leads, what is our cost per lead? You can see here it's only $42. So you look at that compared to the $99, it's a lower cost per lead that you're going to get from this source. You're going to see a flow chart of what's going on per day volume-wise, so you can see spikes again in volume on your leads. And one of my favorite views is looking at just the month view. We're looking at how many leads I had per month and what I spent in those months. I think that's really valuable data for you to have. Then it'll get into the actual information that came in from the phone leads. You can get into all the details from those. You can see the categories that it came in from. You can see message leads, all that kind of good data. And one of the really cool pieces with this and with Google Ads is it depends on your backend. But there are ways that we can go in and we can tap into your backend and we can actually then show you ROI for these sources, right? So if you have Microsoft Dynamics, or you have Salesforce, or you have Surface Titan, or you have Zoho, or any of these other popular CRMs that are out there, there's ways to tap into those. Our team has done it quite a bit, where we can go in and actually tap into the API and find a way to say you spent $2,000, but your ROI on that was $20,000. So those are some of the really important metrics and some of the next level stuff that we can do once we understand what you have going on, what's working for your business and what you're using. Our team would be happy to look into that and see if we can help you get those connections going as well. And those are your two main paid sources that you want to focus on. And as you get into deeper items, right, and you look at things like Facebook ads, this is a bit of a social media advertising. This is somewhere where you can go in and you can actually run social ads and you can see your spend, your impressions, your reach, your clicks, your call clicks, and your cost per click, right? What's going on there? And you can also see, in this instance, we're looking at how many phone calls did we get as a lead on the Facebook side of things. Now, this is a visual ad. So this is you out there running a visual ad showing an advertisement to your customers and what services you're going to provide and how you can help them. And it's more of a brand builder. It's going to get you in front of them. It's going to get you a lot more impressions. You can see we have almost 100,000 impressions for $1,000 here. We reached 71,000 unique people and we had 710 clicks. So it's a higher volume play. It's to get your name in front of people. But what it also does, it also gets you direct calls for people that might need you at that time as well, or think they need you in the near future, or are looking for something currently. So there's a great way to get in front of people, to get your brand out there, so they will Google you and will come back into your site when things happen. But more importantly, they'll have those call clicks immediately when they call in and they do need you right then. So those are three very viable paid sources that you should be in front of if you're trying to grow your paid leads in the home restoration space. I think that's just an intro to some of the really cool stuff we have going on there. As you look through the report, we have a lot more details. It'll get into your Google Analytics. It'll get into your SEO, your site building, your website design. We can tap into your email marketing. We can tap into your SEMrush and keyword tracking. So there's a lot of stuff that we want to do for each and every one of our clients. But right now, I just want to give you a quick intro into paid media, what we could do on the paid side. I'd love to set up some time and chat with you guys about it. So feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to provide information. Thanks.